2020. If you've had a chance to review, be resolved, the Duntroon Hall Board hereby approve the minutes dated October 20th, 2020 as presented.
And I'll second that, or first it, or whatever.
Yep. We got one,
I was
we got two.
Yep.
on that one.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right.
That
Business.
just means that Mark and Ron hadn't read the minutes yet.
Yeah, exactly. They just get
How you
the
guys
highlighter.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Good. Good.
All right. So we can get into business arising from the minutes. I'd sent out an email earlier today. I'm not sure if everybody got it, but it had Dean's Rugland flooring quote. I think it was, so basically it was everything from the materials to preparations to installation. It was in, I think it was in like the 8,900 range, 8,900 range.
8917.
Yeah. I haven't got any other quotes. I think, Kayla, are we required by
Yes, you should
the
have.
township to get multiple? Okay. Yeah, so ideally, you know, we would like to go with Dean's to keep it in the community, but I will get a couple other quotes for that before we obviously start that project. Any questions? Anybody have any questions about the quote? Anything in particular? Seemed pretty straightforward.
So it's all glue down then, is it?
Yeah.
And they're doing a new baseboard then too, are they?
Is that in there? I can't remember.
It's on the bottom there. I was just curious what they were doing. They got
Yeah.
they got new base doorstop.
Yeah, I mean, if we can replace the old baseboard, but I guess they have to remove it, obviously. To,
Yeah, and depending on what it is, it may just be crap. I can't remember what's up there. I know some of it got the big stuff, but
yeah, I think what we can, you know, keep, obviously we would, because that's, as you say, I think it's fairly new. But and then I guess if we're doing construction, because the flooring would be going in after, then we just hold off on putting the baseboard on. And
yeah, and they've got some stuff in here too that, you know, they got $400 to remove the carpet. That's something that
we could
a couple of us can go in and do pretty easy.
Yeah.
We can have the site prepped and cleaned up and ready to go. That they just have to do the glue down, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
They're giving you a price as a full turnkey, everything. They're doing everything, but
Sounds good. Rental contract, Kayla, I don't know where we're at with that, but
Still just waiting on you to kind of look over it and see what you think. We just keep
has it? Yeah, no, has it been sent to me? Sorry, I don't.
Yep, I can send it again.
Send it again. I got the sense on that it was something being composed and that we were gonna. Okay.
Nicole kind of took the lead on that, but I'll send it back to you again.
That'd be great.
Okay.
I don't know. Did Mary ever make it in?
I'm here.
Yeah. We have a financial report. Not much, I'm sure.
Yes. Money in the bank is $26,822.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of questions. The last payment we had for Joseph was $2,000 dated October 16th.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the timing is on that. Like, when are we expecting our next payment?
Okay, so he recently got to me. I guess once again he's in one of those situations where he just sold a house and blah blah blah. So he didn't move into the 15th. So he's basing it on that date. And he's basically said to me what he's going to do is his next payment, which will be ideally before the end of the month, he's going to pay everything. So he's going to pay the $3,000 to cover the whole his whole rental for the whole term.
Okay. Now, I assume he will want a receipt for rent for his tax purposes, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'll ask him if he wants it like the full thing when he's fully paid up, or does he want it month by month?
Well, if he's going to pay everything, then I'll give it to him after he's paid.
Yeah, it makes sense just to give him the sole one. Yeah.
He may want one for 2020 and one for 2021 if it's part on each year rent.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll check with him on that.
If he's running a business, it would depend on his year end, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, and this doesn't really make any difference, but the payments for the church, it comes in the name of Nancy Bro. That what church is it?
He told me the name, and I don't remember. I can find out for you. That is his wife that I met with.
Can I jump in here? Perry and Nancy Brock's, they're friends of mine, and the church is called the Christadelphians, and I don't really know too much more about it than that. It's not an occult church or a cult church or anything like that. It's fairly a fairly normal church anyway. But Nancy Lee Brox, yeah, that's the lady's name, and Perry Brox is her husband. So anyway, anything else I can help you with on that?
It doesn't really matter. It's just that we probably should have the like the payments in her name, but they're well, it doesn't matter. Are they the ones that are renting it, Monica, or in the church name?
It was, well, I don't know exactly. It was her husband, Terry, that I met with.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it doesn't really matter.
She should just put in the comments what it's for.
Yeah.
Would that help?
Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'll just put it in her name.
Yeah.
For billing purposes for the church probably wants it in their name.
Well, that'll be up to them to communicate all that to us then.
Right.
Want a receipt? And yeah.
I'll ask him.
Matter of fact, so what question do you want to ask him? I can text him right now because what question? Just what name he wants it in? Or
Yeah, what name he wants the receipt in, I would think.
okay, I'll get back to you before the meeting is over.
All right.
I'll call him right now.
That's all I have.
Perfect. Thanks, May.
You're welcome.
Booking update. So, Monica,
Yes?
a little update on our bookings, which is just our constants.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, everything is canceled, obviously, till
Yeah.
1st of March, right? We can't have anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I haven't told the New Year's Eve girl Buckendo yet, but I'm sure she is aware of it. But she booked an alternative date in April just in case.
Yeah. Okay.
And then all of our Christmas parties just book dates for next year, so that's good.
Yeah. Great. The church, how long have they sort of said they want to operate for?
At this point, I think it's indefinitely until something else comes up.
Okay. because we can still have upstairs rentals, but it's just the limitations obviously around that.
So then I have another lady asking, they're doing a mum market,
Yeah.
and they're wondering about, basically it's like the one stop, I think.
Okay.
And she's asking me about Friday nights from 4 till 8. Now, I don't really know how often she wants it or anything. She's just been asking a lot of questions.
Okay. Good to know. And
I didn't give her a price.
yeah. And because you know, there is that option that because Joseph is working in-house, that if they did need food or catering or something, that is, I think, a feasible option there. Ian, just if you can give us update on your operations, of how things are going. Sorry, I didn't get back to you about the sheets, but I didn't really have them. I figured that was more of a township
Yeah,
thing
that's
anyways.
okay. I, like I said to Monica, we keep our own records
Yeah.
as well. So everybody that comes in the class, we have their contact information and all that. So update. So the next 2 courses before year end will be on November 28th and December the 5th. And that's it for for this year. And we'll start
And you-
booking next year,
Yeah.
maybe in another month or so.
Yeah. So do you suspect that you like, it seems like you're quite busy? You think you'll be continuing on throughout the winter?
Yeah, we have been busy, and I suspect it'll kind of remain that way, probably at least 1 or 2
Okay.
a month anyway. Or, yeah.
So that just means people are bored and have nothing else to do, so they want to go hunting.
Yeah, they want to go hunting. They want to take up a new sport. You know, if they're looking for outdoor activities and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there is regained popularity with it also.
For sure. Good.
And everybody's been pretty good. They're following all the requirements, and we basically treat it like a restaurant. You mask in, take it off when you're sitting down, and you back up when you get up.
Do you need the safety course if you do biathlon?
Yeah, we get biathloners
Yeah.
in there as well. They have to have an understanding of firearm safety for their sport.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
do
just
get that crowd in there.
Yeah, because I know the Highlands they've got a course set up there.
Oh, okay. That's their firearms course, right? That they.
Do they do their own firearms course? I know they have. No, they have they have a biathlon track.
Right. That's right. Yeah, their course of fire for the actual event. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so if everything's okay there, it's good to get a sense on how things are operating. The heat's all right, and
yeah, everything's great. Yeah, we got it all figured out, and it's been a great spot, and we appreciate it.
perfect.
So we'll just continue on and make sure we notify everybody when we need a book and all that stuff.
Great. Yeah, I think that, Monica, might be the only consideration is with if this group does start booking the Fridays.
Yes.
It's just that sort of back to back. If Ian's running on a Saturday course, just making sure that we're aware of that and do whatever diligence
Like,
we need.
I don't think it'd be every Friday. I think it might be once a month or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah. Okay.
Mary, I just sent you that church's name.
Right. Yeah. I'll I'm using my phone right now, so I'll get it when I'm finished. Thank you.
I send it to Mary. You'll get 2 copies of it.
All right. Thank you.
Events update, no events update. Facility review.
Can I have add a
Batman?
question for rentals before we leave rentals?
Yeah.
It's Jim here, and I was speaking with Bonnie Bruce, who lives down the road, and she was asking if I could find out about the bowling alley. There's she and Crochers, and there's a bubble, neighborhood bubble there that get together, and they were thinking it'd be nice to get together and bowl rather than just drink.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But
Monica posed this to me. I think it was your sister-in-law was looking to rent for bowling as well. And I sort of shut it down just based on the fact that the basement rental, because Joseph has all his stuff in there, and I've sort of felt that it's kind of become his space exclusively.
Okay.
And it's just hard. The bowling alley is just, I don't know. It's kind of a difficult one.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'll let her know that it's at this point not available.
Yeah.
Easy.
No, I'm
I just
sorry
needed
about
an
that.
answer.
Yeah, it just to me to let groups in to there. As soon as you let one in, then we gotta let anyone who inquires, and then it just kind of becomes a little more complicated.
Yeah.
Especially with that space, the way he's going to be operating. I think.
Yeah.
I
Got
mean,
it.
yeah. Go ahead. Whoever else was up.
That's it.
Well, if you're starting facility review, I have some information on furnaces.
Yeah. What's going on?
Apparently the compressor is pooched, and so I inquired about it thinking that it was less than a 10-year-old furnace, and that the compressor should be guaranteed for 10 years. The furnace got a new compressor when it got installed, so that was covered under warranty when it went in, and all new replacement parts only have a 1-year warranty, and that was like 2016 we put that in.
Yeah.
If I'm right. I think that's the year.
I have
So-
I have the warranty and all that stuff downstairs. I can check it to make sure.
Yeah. So anyways, I've sent all the serial numbers and everything to another guy to get a price back. I don't have that price back yet. Zeke gave me a price of $65.19
Okay.
to change the compressor. There's no warranty with that. That's just just fix what's there.
Yeah.
17,561 puts a whole new geothermal in there, and you go back to the warranty. He also proposed a propane unit of 9,790. The only thing I have a big concern about the propane, and that propane there, that does include an air conditioner as well. But I don't know if I go to the hassle of putting an air conditioner in. I don't know. If the church is going to use it all summer, then it might be a good thing. It's hard to say.
Mhm.
The geothermal loops
Geothermal works for that.
are all in the ground.
Sorry. The
What's that?
geothermal works as air conditioning too, though.
Yes, but if we don't do a geothermal furnace back in,
Oh, I see.
then we would do a propane with an air conditioner.
When we got our geothermal fixed, we got a new unit put in, but we didn't have to put in a new loop, and we got it
Right.
all warranted. It was all, we got a new compressor, and then we got a new furnace.
Right.
But we never had to put in a new loop. Or
No,
anything. We
the
didn't have to
loop,
replace
the loop
everything.
would just tie into the loop. That's not an issue with both the loop. It's just
Yeah.
the unit itself and then the labor.
Hmm.
So
That's a high price.
I know, and even just to replace the compressor part seems to be expensive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I talked to Scott Campbell, and Scott gave me a name of a guy that he uses for geothermal. And so I'm working on a price from him. I'll email whatever I get from that in the next couple of days, hopefully. I
Do
was
you want to
hoping-
ask Clarksburg?
What's that?
Do you want to ask Clarksburg too? I don't know. That's who we use.
I could. I've always found them to be substantially more expensive than others, but I'll see what this guy's quote comes in at, and then I'll know where I'm at. I just kind of wanted to get an idea what anybody's thought was. Repair what's there versus a whole new unit. The cost of a whole new unit is big.
Yeah.
Is the whole unit 10 years old?
Yeah, to the best of my memory, I was told that the unit was probably had been installed for 3 years, and it sat for 3 years in Zeke's shop
Yes.
after
that's
the
right.
Mennonites bought the farm.
Yeah.
And then we've had it in for 4 years. So it has reached
Okay.
the 10-year mark. Maybe a
But it's
little
only
bit
been-
more. I'm not sure exactly where the 3-year line came in. But in any event, the main bulk of it's is past its warranty. And the compressor was only a 1 year and it was replaced in 16. So
Well, we got a new compressor, and then a couple years later got a new unit. So they used our old compressor. So we could start off with just a new compressor, and then if we need to replace the whole thing, that's a different. But
yeah.
and keep the old compressor.
What are the numbers again, David? For the
So a new Geo is 17,561.
Yeah.
Replace the compressor only is 6,519.
yeah.
And a propane with an air conditioner is 9790.
Okay.
So I know, and I don't doubt that like if we do go to a propane with an air conditioner, Scott might give us a better price than Zeke. Zeke was dealing with this Geo. That's who I bought the unit from. So
Yeah.
he just gave me a number when he was at it. So if we do decide we want to go to the propane route, I'd imagine Scott could do better. And whether we do or we don't do the air conditioner with it, that's different. Scott suggested an air handler, which would cover us in the shoulder seasons. So it's an air-to-air heat exchange. And that does the air conditioner as well, which isn't probably too bad of an idea. Just the biggest thing is, where do you put it that, people aren't going to sit on it? We don't have a lot of real estate to the east.
No.
And in order to put even another propane unit in, you would end up having to put 3 more upright tanks, because to go to a torpedo tank, you have to be 10 feet away from the building.
Right.
Yeah.
As a minimum. So, nobody wants to see that stuck out on the west side when you're walking up to the building.
Yeah.
Well, my thought, and Doug could weigh in here. It's Jim speaking. Doug, you had mentioned that the budgeting for next year is coming up.
We're in the process of doing that now. Yep.
And I don't know if that, like the timing, ideally, it's probably delays it more, but whether we could be asking the township for funds for a new furnace, which is kind of fairly common request.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind asking. Just, give me a price or whatever, or a ballpark figure. I'm just sort of wondering, though, because of the this review that they're doing, and we just turned down Sunnydale. Now that was a big request that they had, but we turned them down. But let's ask for it. Let's. I won't need to know the number for probably until around the 1st of January, but yeah, I don't mind putting a request in.
Like, I was wondering even what you guys thought if we put for the all new heat pump and split, offered to cover half the cost or something. And if the township could come up with the other half.
Yeah.
As out of their all money or something like that. And then we'd.
So would you go the geothermal, or would you go the propane and air-to-air?
I'd do the geothermal myself, but
Right. And
I know it's expensive.
Yeah, and that was Scott's comment too, was that because we already have the loop in place,
Yeah.
that was probably the more viable solution.
Yeah.
So it tells me that the geothermal was working. When you see what our bills were for February, March last year, how much they had gone up.
Right.
That was because the compressor wasn't working and it was just electric banks. So that to me looks at it and goes, holy, so the geothermal is doing its job. It's brought the cost down substantially.
Yeah. Yeah. And Doug, like in terms of if the township, like, does it have to be this new budget, or is there funds currently, or like where, in terms of timing, what do you think would be reasonable if there was some funds from the township?
Well, I mean, I guess there's always funds at some point, you know, like there's money in various reserve funds. First of all, are you guys getting that beep beep? Or is it just,
Yes.
okay. Anyway, I mean, there's always money in various reserve funds, but it's just a matter of, you know, whether the rest of council will agree to, you know, releasing some of that money for the Duntroon Hall. You know, I'm just sort of thinking the best bet would be to go with, you know, the requesting it in the budget. Yeah, that's, and we're in the process of that now. But the way that it works is staff, they come to us and they give their budget. And then, so that took place last Monday. And then it's going to also take place in another 2 weeks. And where staff will give us their budget. And then we go to the public, and then the council, I think, get a chance to input their requests. And so anyway, that's when I would put it in. So I think it would, that's when I would make the request. So I think it's around the 1st of January or something like that. Maybe late in December, 1st of January, when the council budget comes, like when we make our request. So that's when I would prefer to do it. And and I think that's your best shot at getting any money is at that time period.
Yeah.
But having said that, having said that, I mean, you know, it can wait. I mean, you know, if you want to wait until next summer, we can do it next summer too. I can request it at any time. It's just that I think your best shot at getting an approval will be during this budget session that we're doing right now. So
that's my vote.
Hey, Monica, I think it's your phone. Beeping.
I think it's I'm gonna hang up and dial in again.
I just thought it was Monica because hers lights up every time.
Her light keeps going on.
I think Monica's phone might
I just
die.
I just texted her to see if she was answering, but she hasn't read it yet.
It's on. Oh no, it's still there.
Okay.
She put us on hold and left.
So, David, is right now we're running on the backup element, basically an electric furnace, which is what we replaced. So it's Yeah.
So
okay.
we're not
It's back
saving
to
any
the old
money.
days.
We've got a geothermal there that's not doing us anything. So.
Yeah. So Doug, if so it goes to council basically in January, like that's hopefully in January we might have a decision from them.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, it'd be be January when the final decision would come out. Kayla, if you're there, do you know when council does their budget? Do you have the schedule in front of you?
I do somewhere. Give me a second. I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, basically the way that it works is that I requested, and right that I requested, it's either approved or it's not approved by the council, and after still has to be a bylaw. The budget bylaw has to be passed, but I mean that's just a formality. So.
Yeah. What do the rest of you think of that idea of that? Can we hold off until January?
Do we go ahead with it and then still with a request for funds? If they reject us, we still need it, right? Like it's
right. It's something that needs to be done. So if we get the price and he can do it in the next little while, we're happy with the price he comes up with, then we'll get it done. And if we can get some of the funds reimbursed, then we'll go that way rather than waiting on them to pay in the first place.
We're talking about the whole, replacing the whole thing, right?
Well, we'll see where the numbers come in, and I'll send an email out and wait for some replies back. But personally, I'd be thinking that we just replace the compressor.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then phase two potentially based on what we get from the township, then you could go and consider doing the phase 2 of it.
Phase 2 being
Yeah.
replacing the whole thing?
Yeah.
But you've already bought the compressor, isn't that?
But as Roz said, you can exchange the new compressor out to put it with the new furnace, right?
Yeah, that's what we did.
That's
So
an
you-
option to do. It's a labor. It's costing you more in labor, and
Yes.
it may do something to your warranty, putting a so-called used compressor
Yeah.
into a new unit. But like I said, I think we'll wait and see what the numbers come in, and then we'll decide what we want to do.
What are
It
the
would
lights?
be good. It would be good to know what, beyond the compressor, what else could be expected to go wrong, and kind of a ballpark of the cost of that. You know, like the blower may go next or whatever, right? Like,
Well, there's compressors and condensers. Those are the two big things. And
and then the fan, basically your blower, like the motor, the bearings, and
yeah,
stuff like that. The other,
But-
it's the moving parts that will probably be fail, I would think. But I
Yes.
just, if we, talk to Scott or whoever and just say, well, what, I think get their input, because and the other thing, you run into this obsolescence kind of thing sometimes, where that's what makes me a bit of sticking with an old product.
Yeah, if you got a 10-year-old product that, are you going to find parts to deal with that in 10 years time?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just the classic of all the problems everybody has now with cars and everything, right? Fridges and appliances and everything, do you replace the compressor in a fridge anymore because they change the model so fast? It's
Well,
hard.
and everything is such a disposable society now that they don't fix, they just replace.
Yeah.
Cost more.
Mhm.
I'm curious,
Could we
Roz.
be-
What?
How long did what was your time frame with yours? So you replace your compressor after how many years?
When we bought this house, it had a 20-year-old geothermal in already.
Oh, okay.
And that was about, how long ago was that? Like 15 years ago. So this is so we replaced that one. And so this one, I think the compressor lasted about 13 years. And then the furnace, we did last year.
So
So
the furnace lasts 40 years and the compressor lasted about 20.
no, we got a new,
30?
no, we're on our third geothermal.
Third furnace. So how
Third
long?
furnace.
I'm trying to get a sense of what is a lifespan.
It can be, I think, anywhere between 10 and 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, our geothermal is approaching 20 years, I think, 18, 20 years, and we've had zero problems with it so far, knock on wood.
Till tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. So
we have a 10-year-old furnace that's been used for 7 years.
Yeah. So you'd think it would last longer.
Yeah.
Like the compressor, sure. Actually, I think that's pretty fast for a compressor because it hasn't even been used for more than 4 years, right?
Exactly. And that's what the one guy, when I talked to him, he says, what's causing the compressors to go?
Yeah.
And I said, well, the one compressor going, I can see because it sat for 3 years or whatever, that everything would dry out. That could be the cause of it. And he didn't seem to think that would be the cause. His concern was, why is the compressors going, 2 of them in this short period of time? So,
Yeah.
and whether it's a faulty compressor we got or what, I don't know.
what is the make, like even what is the make? Like, is it
It's a geo.
yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what ours is. It's whatever Scott put in, but it's been good so
Right.
far. Yeah.
Okay, can I jump in here again, guys? It's
Yeah.
Doug here again. So January the 13th is the council budget, so that's when I would have to have the amount that you want. I'd have to have it by then, and I would just ask the rest of council that day, and they either say yay or nay. So that's the way that it works. So anyway,
Doug, do you see any disadvantage of asking kind of like retroactively of saying Duntroon Hall went and spent $7,000 replacing a compressor and they're asking for a contribution toward it? Or as opposed to Duntroon Hall needs new compressor, what can, you know, they're willing to pay half or something? Like, is there an advantage for us going ahead and buying it now?
No, I don't see any advantage either way. It's totally up to you guys. I mean, if you need it, you need it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could say that you've already installed nothing. Like I can say, you know, requesting $7,000 towards the cost of a new compressor at the Duntroon Hall, and you know, it can be in or
But isn't
not be
it
in at
better
that
to
point.
get
So,
our request
anyway.
in when they're doing their budget rather than after the fact?
Oh no, we will get the request in, but we got to get the work done like ASAP.
Sure.
Yeah, but regardless.
So the way it works, is that Mary that's
Yeah.
talking, or is that yeah? So the way it works, Mary, is that each of the departments come to council with their budget, with their proposed budget. And matter of fact, this past Monday, half of the departments came to council with their budget, and in another 2 weeks, the rest will come to council with their budget, and they basically, you know, tell us what their budget is. Now, you know, for instance, it was the planning department, it was administration, it was what else? The recreation, you know, Parks and Recreation and Culture. They came with their budget, and then we either, you know, like we listen to that, and then we can make modifications or suggestions or whatever to it. And but the fact is that, you know, who am I as a counselor? I can't really, you know, I can maybe make a few suggestions or ask questions, but as long as they come in with a half decent number, you know, I'm fine. Like as long as they come in, you know, at 1 or 2%, something like that, you know, I'm happy with that. And then, so then what happens is that, so on November the 30th, you know, the rest of the departments, they'll come to council with their budget. And then in December, we will have a public meeting, which nobody ever attends. But anyway, the public, then they can give their input as to how, you know, whether they like the budget or their suggestions or things like that. And then after that, then the council get together, and that'll be on January the 13th. And that's where we make modifications to it. And it's supposed to be based on the public input. So that's actually, so that would be a good idea. I'm just thinking, so in December, and I think it's December the 14th, but I'll get you the date. That would be a good meeting for someone from the Duntroon Hall to come forward and maybe, you know, say about the compressor and maybe make a request. And then what I would do is in the January meeting, I would say, okay, Duntroon Hall needs this compressor. So, you know, I'm asking for $7,000. And, you know, and if it's only 7,000, you know, I don't think there's an issue. I think I can get you that. I mean, you know, some of the rest of them are asking like for like $100,000 for different things, and surely we can, you know, like get 7,000. So anyway, so that's the way that it works. So basically, if you know, 1 or 2 of you want to attend the December, I think it's December 14th. I'll get you the actual date for that meeting, but that's the public meeting on the budget, and I can almost guarantee you guys will be the only ones from the public to be there, because you know, it's been my experience in the last couple of years that nobody really shows up. And but you can put your case forward then, and then at the January meeting, I will you know, ask for it. So anyway, and so I think that would be the best way to go.
Awesome.
Have I lost you there? Or
Oh, good.
is
Great.
it,
Crystal?
Very great input, Doug.
Yeah, I'll send you an email and explain it all better in an email, but I think that would be
Sounds
your
good.
best, your best route.
So then the
Yeah.
decision we should do now is which option do we do and get it done? It sounds like, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If you're going to do it anyway, I think you decide which option you're going to do, and don't count on the money from the township. It's just a bonus if you get it, but yeah.
Well,
I'd like to know what this other guy is going to have to say and say, you know, if he thinks that we should change the compressor or he thinks it should be a new unit because there's something in that unit that's making the compressors go. And at
Right.
4 years' time, we'll be back in the same boat.
Yeah.
So I would like a second opinion on to why or what's going on before I made any decision whether I was going to spend 7,000 or 17,000.
yeah, I agree, because I can think of so many cases, right, where we've gone in and, you know, like even if it's a propane furnace and it needs some work, but it's likely going to, you know, the guys look at it and they go, you know what, we can fix this and fix that, but in 2 years, we're probably going to be back fixing, you know, C and D on it. Like, just keep going, all these things. And so often the recommendation is to start fresh. But yeah, I think getting that other opinion. So who was the first opinion, Zeke?
Zeke was the first opinion. Yep.
And then Scott steered you to somebody else.
Yes, who he uses for geothermals now. So I've talked to him, and I hope to get a reply in a couple of days. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get him to come down or he's just going to look at the serial numbers and figure out stuff based on that.
Yeah.
And even car's running, it looks like it's good, but until you get into the nuts and bolts inside of it, you don't know what the problem is.
Yeah. Yeah, and to know the model like that, whether that company had a history of problems or whatever, you know, like to know more about the world. Yeah. Okay. So
I was
sounds
hoping to have
like
this by
we
now,
wait
but I
for-
didn't get a hold of it with time, and so
Yeah. So we'll wait for more input.
yeah.
Sounds good to
Whenever
me.
I get that, I'll send an email out and we can have an email discussion.
Yeah. Everybody else good with that plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, David, for
Yes.
doing all that.
No problem.
I didn't actually even know that it wasn't working.
Yeah, you,
That's good.
Zeke had said there was a leak, and it was like, well, leak of what? But I guess it was the compressor.
Yeah.
It was the leak. The leak was in the compressor itself.
Yeah. As far as I know, it's a compressor. According to the guy that was in, it was Zeke's service guy that was in, said that the compressor was done. So.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So, Kayla, at this point, do we really need to make a motion for anything until we make a sole decision, or?
No, I would definitely take on board David's quotes and requests and have your email communication. And at the next meeting, I would suggest come back and make your decision at that.
And if necessary, can we call a special meeting if it needs a quicker decision?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That sounds better. Yep.
And that public meeting is December the 7th. It's at 4 p.m., December 7th. So that's the one that you want to have someone attend. And that'll be a Zoom meeting as well. So that I think that well, any of you should attend. If you all want to, you can, and just put forward the fact that you have to replace the the compressor there and at the Duntroon Hall and everything. So, and then and then at the January 13th meeting, that's when I'll formally request some money. So,
got it.
Okay.
Can you just send out a reminder for that, Doug, please?
Yeah, I'll send you an email.
Or, yeah,
on that.
or even Kayla to get the clerk to put us on that Zoom.
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
If the clerk could put us on that Zoom meeting for December 7th.
Yep, I
Even
can. I can do that.
Does it need to be just one of us? I'm just wondering, like Gord, just, or David, like one
Well,
person?
Well, you can all attend, but probably just one person, one or two people speak. That's all. It's just
Yeah.
doesn't have to be much. You just have to say, well, I don't know exactly what to say. I'll think about that and let you know in an email. What I would suggest that how you approach it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other facility items. It's also in that email I sent out with the quote. There was an image. Joseph was inquiring if sort of thing. You might have seen the picture.
Yes. What?
Thoughts on that?
What's the cost on that, or?
What was the cost?
Well, that basically what I gathered from him was that he would just do it, no cost.
New, they're about, that sink that he showed new is, I think, $975 to $1,050 new. But they're often secondhand and stuff, so.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if he actually has one already that he would like to install.
Is he going to plumb?
Anyways, yeah, the discussion has to go on more. It was just a matter of, is that something that we, to have.
Well, is he going to plumb it in himself? Because I have a feeling that when you take all those cabinets out of in there, that there's going to be crap behind there that needs attended. Like whether we have to put a piece of plywood in behind it and then some plexiglass or something on it for waterproofing, tile, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as simple as undo the plumbing and redo the plumbing.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll have further discussion on that.
Yeah, and the floor, of course, it exposes the floor, so I don't think the terrazzo, I don't know if it goes under those cabinets or not. I'm not sure. I think actually it was there when we built the cabinets 40 years ago. You'd find, yeah, and then $1,000, basically $1,000 sink, and then I'm guessing the valve setup and stuff, depending, which is another $500 to $1,000, I think, too. So it's expensive.
He was giving an example. I'm pretty sure he has one. Is the sense that I got from him.
Okay.
Right.
Before we went even further, I was just like, okay, well, send me a picture. I'll propose it to the board, and we'll see, if it's something even to be entertained, and then I can go back to him.
I have no problem with that. That's easy to clean, easy to maintain because it's all stainless.
Yeah.
So, the way everything was going in there this summer with no activity, the water, moisture, and everything that was going on in there, having something that you can wipe down completely is a great idea. As Jim says, whether the floor is underneath it or not. I'm also looking at the fact that at the far right-hand end, we have that coffee maker in there that's plumbed in.
Yeah.
You'd have to move that somewhere else because you're that's a dish tray that's on the end of that. You wouldn't put the coffee maker on the end. And there again, I'm guessing the length of that. There may still be room to put a shelf in the corner to put the coffee maker on. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll get some more clear details on that, and we can follow up.
Yeah, and to know just if in 2 months he moves out, that he doesn't take it with him, and then we're left with a big repair job. Because we did just
yeah, I mean, if it gets installed,
yeah.
It's for I get why he wants it, just because some of the bigger stuff that he's washing and stuff like that. It's it's kind of cumbersome. But yeah, like, is it really worth his while to put that in unless he's got surplus? Or yeah, once again, I don't know the specifics.
I think that would be something that needs to come
Mhm.
back as an email, is to know what's going on. Like if he wants it installed sooner than later,
Yeah,
that's fine. I got no problem coming in, giving him a hand, putting it in. But
yeah, it's finding out the whole plan on his side. Yeah.
And to make, check the fit because of the stoves. Like right now, out of our 3 required sinks, one of them is on, of course, under the window.
right.
So just how that whole unit fits. It's pretty much identical to what we just put in at Duntroon Highlands Golf Club. That's why I know the cost.
Right. So
And
is that not like just about 8 feet long, I would guess?
yeah, I could pull up, I could actually pull the specs up and see, but it would just, I don't know if, I don't think I have a drawing of the kitchen down there, but it would just, the floor, okay, you just wonder what you get into there. But I think it is a good idea from durability and stuff, like, because, with this commercial use he's doing and the residential setup we have with plastic laminate countertops, even though it's new, it's feasible that next spring that countertop is all toast and stuff anyway, if he's slopping water a lot, right?
Yeah.
That it's getting all messed up anyway.
You're gonna be, it's not,
Yeah.
how diligent is he wiping it up, or how good is the seal around the sink to the counter?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll get some more details then. And then
Yeah,
follow up.
get the actual model and stuff he's saying, because even that image that he showed, there's ones with 18-inch sinks and ones with 24-inch sinks. So,
Okay.
3 times 6. So the one's 18 inches longer than the other one.
Yeah.
So,
and does his have the rack on the end, or is it just the 3 sinks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes it fit better with just 3 sinks rather than
The end. Yeah, the dry rack. Yeah. We'll find all those details. Perfect. Any other new business?
I've got a report on the renovation thing. And I was just pulling up the size of that sink, just so you know. The one that we did was the 18, and it's over 6 feet long, 74 inches. Yeah. So, yeah, it's probably 8 feet, that other one. So, on accessibility front, I've contacted Scott McLeod earlier there, and so maybe if I just run through the emails quickly, he said first step would be to contact Terry Vachon, and a proposal would have to be approved through Terry and then likely circulated to accessibility committee as well, as we ran into this last year. And then Terry wrote, on the surface, I feel it can be considered by our department and council. I agree now would be a good time to do renovations. With that being said, the Duntroon Hall Board may want to consider the following. You would need to have engineered drawings for the building department, accessibility committee, and council to consider. Council is still in the process of determining accessibility renovations for the 6 halls, and there may be some funds available for the future, blah, 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 but we're not doing accessibility, right? So it's not, but the accessibility committee would have to review the engineered drawings, as Scott mentioned, provide their feedback. A resolution from the Duntroon Hall Board would have to be provided to council. And then I kind of said, okay, if I do the drawings, engineered drawings is not I don't know what he means by that. you know, so I said, saying, you know, does that mean you need an engineer's stamp? And if so, can I do the drawings? And, you know, the town engineer. And he agreed the township can cover the costs for an engineered stamp drawing as requested. I would rely on Scott McLeod's decision if your plans and drawings improve accessibility in any way. Scott can please comment, let us know. With respect to FADs, do you remember the FADs accessibility thing? And then Kayla, thank you, Kayla, let us know when the next accessibility meeting is, which was, I had it here a second ago and I forgot. 20th, it's in December. Will provide drawings to the accessibility committee, even though we all know there's no accessibility improvement that we're planning. So I'm not sure how that'll fly.
Well, we are, if like we're creating wider openings, are we not, for the washrooms?
Well, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't say that because as we all know, accessibility isn't just mobility.
Yeah.
So it's things like that.
Yeah.
That they so see what we're trying to do. There are some issues with it, just on a commercial building, as you know, we had problems with this with the earlier renovation, but managed the best we could. Like the handrails should extend horizontally a foot past the end and of a stair at each end, which in some places we couldn't with the existing, but we still improved things. That'll be one that we'll see what Scott McLeod says, because we're quite tight. The last plan that was circulated, we were trying to keep one wall, and afterwards looking at it, I think, I don't think if we're moving stuff around, we should just kind of do it right. It was a few inches, but it's kind of a few inches that stair needed, I think, that we just rip the walls down and do it properly.
Yeah.
Is my thought. So anyway, my plan is to try and get the plans together. Right now, as you saw, the plans like little chunks of the building need to, the whole floor of the building is what the accessibility committee would want. So I just need to find time to do that and put it into the overall context of the building.
Right, and then if you show on the front entrance that, you know, proposed accessible washroom and the proposed accessibility, elevator, chairlift, whatever it is, but show it as going to be proposed at the other end, that they don't suspect that that's what we're trying to do with this.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Just to say future, or just say that's where that is at. And so got to get through the accessibility committee first.
Yeah.
That's the objective. And I still don't know this reference to engineered stamp drawings. I don't know really if he knows exactly what that is. As far as I know, building actually architect stamp drawing, which don't have a stamp. I'm not sure if engineers are actually qualified to stamp something like this, but we'll see what happens here and try and med. Kayla, do you know actually, like he's made reference there to, in order to go in front of the accessibility committee, they need to be engineered drawings.
No, I don't think that they need to be stamped engineered drawings to go to accessibility. Accessibility advisory is just gonna kind of look over it and see what you guys want to do. input any of their
Yeah.
accessibility criteria and then make a recommendation that council consider it. So you're basically just getting the accessibility advisory committee on your side to then go to council.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think engineer drawings, he may just mean not napkin sketches, like real drawings.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably that's what I'm suspecting.
Isn't that what we want anyways? Just a napkin drawing?
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So anyway, I'm gonna try and deal with that, but I'll circulate to everybody once I get it together, get my act together.
Sure.
And Kayla, how much? When? It's always good if I have a deadline. When do you need that to give to accessibility committee?
So I like to send everything out a week before, as everyone knows and loses their passwords
Yeah.
and access codes. So they are meeting on the 8th. So if you could have it to me for the 1st, that would give them a week to review it and look over it.
Deadline for Kayla. Okay, deadline to send to Kayla. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And Jim, it's Doug here. I used to be on the accessibility committee. I'm not any longer, but it's just they're all just lay people, just like myself. I mean, when I was on the committee and I would see some of these drawings, and I'm thinking, I got no idea what this is. I mean, so it probably would have been better if the drawings were on the back of a napkin. I might have understood it even more. But I think the only person on that committee that has any real, engineering background or whatever is the staff member, and I guess that's Scott Patterson. And
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so I mean, he may understand it better than the rest, but everybody else are just the regular citizens, and so I wouldn't worry personally if if it's like it doesn't have to be that terribly detailed. I wouldn't think for the majority of the accessibility committee to understand it. If it's too detailed, Scott wanted more detailed, but yes. So that was just my input on that.
Okay.
And the odd time, on the accessibility committee, I mean, those drawings would, we would look at them and I think, yeah, that looks fine to me. It was just as a layperson. So anyway, but I know there is that FADS document that they have to sort of go by, but that's like I say, the committee are just a bunch of lay people. So anyway.
So we put lots of detail on it, it'll confuse all the rest of the lay people.
Yeah,
they'll just gloss over it and say, okay, go ahead. We don't understand what you're doing anyways.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
I may just for fun, just do it of another building and see if anybody notices.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
My advice, Jim, honestly, is send your drawings, your work over, but absolutely get Scott on board. He's really good at kind of ushering the group through what these sketches and drawings are. And they're currently reviewing the renovations portions of the FAD document to make it more geared towards renovations and the accessibility of the small halls in their current state. So he'll be able to really give you some pointers of what the Accessibility Advisory Committee is looking for when they're looking at these.
That's great. Good idea.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good advice. Yeah, that's good advice. Scott's the man. So anyway.
Okay, so that's where I'm at with that process anyway. So I guess in theory, if accessibility approve of the notion, then it has to still go to council, which would be in January. Would that be right?
Yes.
I suppose so. Yeah, it would come to council, and once again, if accessibility approves it, then I don't think the council would have any problem. I think they would just go ahead and approve it. So, and that would probably be in January. Yes.
Okay, just for our timing to do the work.
Right, so that would be good. Then you can get McLeod or Patterson, whoever, to create the building permit. We can get started.
Yeah, and they'll have to deal with this. They will probably get somebody to stamp it. So however they want to do that. Okay, so we're kind of on track.
Okay,
but it's good.
We got some dates in goal now.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else from anyone? Still got people hanging around?
I have a question. On last month's minutes, there was on snow removal.
Yeah.
Discuss the removal and increased maintenance required with the proposed west emergency exit increased use. So is that all looked after before we get snow?
So this is for, this is for,
This
the
is for
exit-
Joseph using his, that exit door.
yeah, no, I had mentioned to him to get in touch with Eric and request that. He, as far as I know, he hasn't got feedback yet, but I'll follow up on that.
Is that the side door?
Yeah.
From the front of the hall, or
Probably go
through the
right,
parking?
probably go right through the. Well, he does the sidewalk, right? And then
Yeah.
just to go straight across. But
The
is that
swerve.
like? I'm wondering, would the weight of that be an issue?
Well, if you've got the sump pump dumping out there, he's going to run into a bug. Like he's going to
Yeah.
have to come in more of an angle that heads for that door.
Yeah.
Or the other option is that every morning when he shows up to work, he goes and shovels that door out so that he has a fire exit.
I think
that's
you should shovel it.
Really all it's for.
Yeah.
What's that?
Because I don't know if going to Eric is, Doug may know, but should be asking Terry, like Eric is hired and
Yeah,
directed by somebody.
Yeah.
Rhodes or Terry Vashon or somebody.
I'm not sure. I think it's Rhodes that Eric deals with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether, not sure. I just question if it would be up to Eric to add to his scope that he's agreed
Eric
upon
would
or something.
comment on the fact whether he would do it or he wouldn't do it, or whether he thought he could. Whether Terry asked him or didn't ask him, he would say yes, he can do it or he can't. And then if
Right.
it's going to be a fee increase, then it would just go through Terry to be
Yeah.
covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I know Eric, he'll have to assess the whole situation and decide whether he thinks he can even do anything to improve it. He's not going to get 100% close to the building, so you still may have some shoveling to do regardless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
he
shoveling.
only has to shovel a 3x3 square so that they can get the door to open.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and man, he runs narrow tires, I know, in the winter. Like, I'm just thinking it's fine if the ground is frozen, but if it's not, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, it's gonna make a big awful mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the other factor I'm thinking is that, so if he does come in on an angle that he can just clean out at the door, he's going to have a snowpack and froze. So any water that's coming out of that sump pump, unless it can drain down, is going to have zero chance of running to the south.
Yeah, it'd be good if he hand shoveled a path in from the corner of the parking lot between the big trees.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't know, what does he do now? The chef,
What do you
the
mean?
kitchen guy, is he pulling up to the door, or is he park in the parking lot, or is he park in front of the hall, or
He parks in front of the hall.
and then walks down the side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right now there's a trailer, I believe that's his, at that door.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a trailer. It's kind of close to that door, so that could be a problem too.
Well, regardless, all parties need to figure this out soon.
Yeah.
Are you saying snow's coming or something?
Not here.
Yeah.
I'm being an ostrich. I can keep my head in the sand.
Yeah, winter's canceled this year.
Snow, David. It'll be the snow soon.
Yeah.
I'll discuss with him what will be the most optional, ideal option and different variations of it. And then, yeah, if it requires going to dairy, I'll follow up and make sure that that's clarified.
It's not an easy one.
Either way, he's got to clear out. He's going to have to shovel out. It's just whether he's accessing that way because he uses the cook trailer.
Yeah, and I just realized my idea of coming in from the end of the parking lot, once we get a lot of snow because of the way the snow plows jam everything up there, that'll be terrible.
Well, if it's Eric coming in with the tractor, that's not going to bother him any, but I don't know if he can fit between the trees properly or not.
Yeah, exactly. And how boggy it may be beyond there too, right?
Well, yes, but he's got height too. Like, so it may be enough that the branches are low. He's not taking this off for a tree limb.
Well, even if Eric could blow out that corner of the parking lot to the trees.
Yep.
Like, 'cause that's where it's going to be really nasty from the snowplow guys.
Right.
I still think Eric should just do the whole parking lot and get rid of the snowplows, which I've asked for several times, but no success, because the snowplows do so much damage.
Right.
And then
but
Eric
snowplows
could
want to turn around anyway, so.
Yeah, Eric could blow right up to the trees, and then you hand shovel a pathway to the door. Wouldn't be that bad. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I'll have a little meeting with him and we can discuss and then I'll follow up with the proper people if it requires a township, whether he just manages it on his own. Yeah, because even if he's coming in along the side of the building, I mean, the tendency for snow will be to blow and bounce off, and it's going to create a bit of a corridor there anyway. So there's not going to be a ton of snow probably to shovel, but that's theory.
And what David said about the packed snow blocking the route from the sump pump is a concern.
Yeah. There
too, unless we just piped it all the way to that drainage ditch, but then it might freeze up.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to say what to do there. I wish they had just put it on something.
It could work in the other side of it as a favor too, because if the sump pump water is just draining into the ground and disappearing, not running on top of the ground, then having a frozen barrier there would stop any of the field water from coming in.
Huh.
What is that?
Somebody's making a drink. Got the blender running.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I'll follow up on that. Anything else? Good. Okay. Well, next meeting is scheduled for December 15th, 2020 at 7 o'clock. You'll all receive your notifications.
At 6 o'clock on the 15th.
A week before and the day before, or the day of.
An hour before.
An hour before. Yeah. Perfect. Adjournment. Be resolved. The Duntroon Hall Board meeting is adjourned at 8:30.
All right.
All in favor?
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I'm in favor. Okay.
I'm so much in favor.
Thanks so much, everyone.